How's it going, YouTube? DMTombstone Belts back here again with a brand new episode for you guys of DMTombstone Live. And obviously, yesterday I did it even though I had to work last night, and it sucked. But I am here now. And yeah, so when we do DMTombstone Live, guys, you know it's unsanctioned, uncensored. Anything that happens, happens. Just try to keep it family friendly as possible. And if you enjoy what I do here on this live streams, make sure you hit the like, and I'll be keeping track with the little icon above me. And if you're new to my channel, want to know what it's all about, especially about the stuff behind me, check out my main channel, like 440 some videos. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Because right now I'm 3 away. I'm 3 subscribers away from reaching 800. Let's try to get me to 800 before the end of the year, guys. And Mark, wait, yeah, Mark, 800 subscribers. And that'd be nearly over 300 subscribers in just this year alone. Anyway, obviously you see my whole get up today is the Lions game. They're going to take on the Giants tonight, or tonight. They're going to take on the Giants in about an hour or so. So yeah, and of course I want to talk about last night. Last night I seen I think it was called Wrestle Dream from AEW, the pay per view, and boy, wasn't it quite a show last night? First off, with obviously there was the tag team matches, like FTR now 3 time. Well, before I go on, first off, spoiler alert: if you haven't seen Wrestle Dream yet, fine, go rewatch that if you want to. But I'm gonna give you guys a minute to those that haven't seen it yet, that don't want to be spoiled. Go watch it. I'll give you guys a minute. Okay, now that those that have seen it, first off, we're seeing how FTR now is a 3 time tag team champions. The only one of 2 teams that have done that. Good morning, dear bro. Muhammad Adib. Hey there, Muhammad. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Yeah. And as well, last night, how are you? I'm feeling better, thank you. Yeah, no talking business on my live stream, Muhammad. Tyrese Harrison. Hi, Tyrese Harrison. You Lottie. Hi, how are you guys? Welcome to the live stream. Anyway, you guys, my thoughts on how Wrestle Dream happened last night with AEW. First off, uh, the Unified Champion and IWGP Champion uh, Okada and Takesha teaming up against the CMLL Tag Team Champions, I think they were, and then them retaining. But yeah, let's see, is that name Claire Gulliver? If I mispronounce your name, I like your videos. Thank you, Tyrese. How are you? I'm doing fine, guys. And of course, last night I had to work while I was listening to the Wrestle Dream. Uh, uh, yeah, Skylander retaining her title against the I think 13 belt holder Mercedes Monet. At this point, Mercedes Monet is kind of like that meme with Conor McGregor. You know, Conor, give me your belt, McGregor. She every time she battles for a belt, she's like, "Give me your belt, give me your belt," and ends up coming with it. I am a lot enjoy on your channel. Thank you, Muhammad. But as well as not only the fact she retained the title, but there was also great matches, including the Casino Royale match or something like that, where the winner became the new AEW National Champion, which make no sense because according to what I've seen videos of it already talking about it and people posting about it, like Stephen Hammer talking about it, Hazard F5. I've seen it recently. Just saw a short video about the first off the look of the belt, the AEW National Title. First off, they didn't even need the national title because Tony Khan was talking about eventually they're going to split the Unified Championship, the AEW Unified belt. It was going to be split up and have bring back the international and continental belt. I mean, after all they brought back the Continental Classic, and the fact the Continental Classic is coming about, chances are if someone wins it other than Okada, they're gonna bring back the Continental Championship, brother. Where's my big gold? It's hanging up on the wall, man. No need to worry about it. This is just a typical stock up stuff in the room. But yeah. But if you guys don't know if some of you have seen Wrestle Dream last night, or want to know what the national title looked like, well, I got a belt here that it's the exact same shape and design wise of what the belt looks like, but a little change here and there. Simple fact, if you want to know what the AEW national title was like, picture it like this. Here's my Hogan 85. Designed like the NWA National or the classic NWA television title. It's basically, it looked like this. Except instead of nickel, it was all gold. It had red paint in the background and it said AEW on it. The banners were painted in red. It had 3 blue stars on each side of the middle banner saying AEW National Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. And of course, the side plates were kind of like this as well, except one was painted in black. I think it was either black or red, and it had the AEW logo in them. I'm a Seattle fan, and today's my birthday. This handsome. Wait, TB is handsome. Hi, TB is handsome. Happy birthday. Let's say happy birthday to all the people. Happy birthday to TB is handsome, guys. But yeah. Last night, there was that match for the national championship, which is funny because eventually they're going to end up unifying that with the international championship. And to think this belt looks completely sticks out like a sore thumb to all the other AEW belts. I mean, picture a belt that looks like this with AEW logos and all, compared to something like this, the AEW Unified title, or the Trios titles, the tag titles, the world title, even the Continental and International title. It just sticks out. It's just ridiculous. Hold on, guys. Just let me put. I'm just putting the belt back. There we go. I'm just putting the belt back where it was. Yeah. And then new birthday. Okay. Tadio Martinez Benaliva. I'll just call you Tadio Martinez. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, so like I said, that title just sticks out like a sore thumb. And of course, I don't know how good and legacy of that title is going to be in AEW since Ricochet is now is the first ever national champion. I mean, when people thought of it as the national championship, it's funny. Yeah, you had the international championship, and now you got a national championship. Eventually, when the unified championship is going to be split back into 2 belts, the Continental and International, because according to Hazard at 5, Tony Khan did admit that title will eventually do split back into International and Continental title. Eventually, it makes it useless to have all these championships. I mean, plus 2, odd. You're going to have a national and an international championship, or they may change the name to the international championship and call it and bring it back to as the All Atlantic title or something like that. Because you can't just have a national, then have an international championship in AEW. It's just, people don't understand what type of, I mean, it's like they don't want to understand what championship, who's this champion in that. It's like if WWE came out with a brand new belt and called it the Continental when or have a Continental Championship, even though they already have an Intercontinental Championship. It would just be confusing. Be like, well, which title are you going for? You're going for the Continental or the Intercontinental, or you're going for the National or International Championship. I mean, I get it. They would call it the National Championship, bring back to the old NWA days, because NWA had all those type of championships, including the television championship. Yeah. Now people just messaging me off the boards, man. That's just plain stupid. Yeah, they know I'm trying to do a live stream for you guys, and I do say so. I would be trying to do this for as long as I possibly can. I don't know if it's gonna be an hour or not, because after all, guys, I'm gonna try to cut the stream before the games comes on. But yeah, and I was thinking, I don't know. I almost had that weird feeling I was gonna just check, but I think Survivor Series is not wasn't last night. It's next week, which would be. I mean, it would be. I would feel kind of stupid to think, oh, because many times AEW pay per views and WWE pay per views usually happens on the exact same day, and that would have been a real doozy for me, because it'd be like, oh crap, I can only watch one of them with the crack stream, because now WWE's PLEs are on that ESPN app, which is just plain stupid. I mean, don't you guys agree? Don't you agree the fact that WWE should start just keeping their PLEs all in one place, or most of the shows in all in one place, instead of just spreading it out like an infectious disease? Like, yeah, Raw's on Netflix. We got NXT and SmackDown on the cable shows, and now we got NXT PLEs on Peacock, along with the Saturday Night Main Event, and our normal WWE PLEs are going to be on the ESPN app. It's like literally they're spreading it out far and wide. Like, remember, I'm trying to keep this family friendly, so I don't want to say it in any way that may be insulting, or one way just plain nasty. But yeah, let's say thank God at least now that I that's now that I've watched the AW pay per view. Now it's like, oh, next week it will be for the next week it will be Survivor Series. And I like how WWE is still paying tribute uh, to the late great Ozzy Osbourne, but playing the exact same song for now. Like before, and it's too. What do you guys think of how Survivor Series is now? Before it used to be like Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, or like a team of six versus another team of six. But or like brand versus brand. But now it seems like it has turned into it's more about war games now. So like Survivor Series has changed ever since they had war games added to like a match card in the company. Because they since they bought out WCW, you would have thought they brought war games in much sooner and say, "Oh, this is a great concept of a match. Let's add this to a certain PLE every now and then." But when they brought it to NXT, they're like, "Huh, you know what? This is not. I see a lot of popularity for this type of match. Let's just add it to the main card to maybe give it the Survivor Series." Sounds perfect. But it's like, what about the traditional six-man tag or elimination tag, or no, the traditional elimination tag matches where it was literally a team of six versus a team of six? They're like, we'll lose them. We'll get rid of one person for each team and turn it into a cage match. It has that. It'll give it. It's a new Survivor Series style tradition, which I think is ridiculous. They could at least had some form of a survival. There's a reason why a certain tag elimination match was called a Survivor Series style tag match. Two teams of six or two teams of five. I forget how it goes. I think it's six. Originally it was six, but I think now they changed it down to five. go at it, and they eliminate each other one by one, either by pinfall, submission, disqualification, or count out. And the last member or last team standing wins. But now it's like, uh, that style's getting old. A lot of people are starting to love this war game stuff, so let's make war games the new Survivor Series tradition. I'm pretty sure that war games could be its own pay per view. Eventually, it may end up being its own pay per view. I mean, come on, the name itself sounds like a pay per view. War games. That's how they did it with NXT. It was NXT War Games. And now it's Survivor Series War Games. I would say just have a pay per view of its own, calling it War Games or something like that. Like, I mean, don't you guys agree? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff now with Abdullah and Muhammad contacting me and that. It's like, man, can't be bothered by looking up my social media stuff because right now I'm doing a live stream. And yeah, guys, I did send links out to Stephen Hammer and Dex all the time. You guys know who they are by now. You know, like Dex, who does live streams as well. I haven't, somehow, it seems like he's not been talking to me lately. But then again, I understand he's probably busy with other stuff. He does other stuff as well, like I do. I never has time. I mean, many times I don't have time to stream or do videos. It's actually like with Stephen Hammer. He, many times we can get him, many times we can't. But you know, you can do what you gotta do. So right now I'm just on my on Minecraft and still working on my project of building the World Trade Center. I'm near the end of near the end of building the secondary section of the Twin Towers, because I already built like the other four buildings, three, four, five, and six. That's four buildings, and right now I'm working on building towers one and two, and then I'm gonna get to move on building number seven. And I tell you, I was surprised to do anything. Well, Joey Dayton, happy birthday, Seattle fan. Yeah. Hold on 1 second, folks. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So the war games. I'm saying, don't you guys agree the fact that war games could be its own pay per view, kind of like how they did with TLC, Money in the Bank, Extreme Rules, and all that other stuff. Seems like now that majority of WWE's pay per views, they're just changing and rearranging them. Like any of them, mostly like the fresh new ones, not the classic ones like Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Like all those are gonna stay. They're not gonna change those a damn bit. It's like now they're some of the old ones that they're just replacing are bringing back old school ones like Bad Blood. That was a classic one back in the day. I'm glad they brought that back. And of course, Saturday Night Main Event, even though that's technically not a PLE, but people have been waiting to see that come back every now and then. And that's another thing that's a shocker. The only time this year that we didn't have a tribute to the troops, which is funny. They've been going years straight. They've been doing it for over like what 20 years, and now they finally put a stop to it. It's like, come on, man. It was tribute to the troops. You gotta pay your tribute to the damn troops. going for 20 minutes now, so I may try to do this for 45, depending on how things go. Right? Like I said, I got time to before the game starts and all that. And yeah, well, as well, I want to talk about my week. I mean, this week was just exhausted and bored. Other than the fact that for the last 5 days, I had to be doing nothing but 12 hours, and last night I had to work as well. Pain in the ass, but what can you do? At least I'd be making that money, making money to get more belts. Sorry, but you know, pays the bills and all that. Maybe and as well think about like talk about buying more belts. I don't know. Maybe there's a chance I may eventually. There's a thing I should probably hold off on that for a little while. I mean, after all, I already have 50 belts in my collection. Being a little bit too much to handle. Hi, DM. Hi, Pez. How are you? Welcome to the stream, man. Glad to see you. Well, yeah. To tell you the truth, working 12 hours at my job was really stressful and not yet tiring. Literally, I've been, as well been feeling slight pains here and there for this whole week, but it was probably nothing, and I'm feeling better now. At least now I don't have to worry much about work until tomorrow. It would have been a lot better if I had just had the whole weekend off instead. Be like, nah, you got to come in on Saturday. Company bunch of dicks. Like, I'm pretty sure the people that didn't have to come in were enjoying a nice, good Saturday to themselves, huh? Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it here. Again, having no media clause about them, and two, don't want to talk shit about it, and they find out, and then I end up getting fired because of it. After your stream, I'm gonna see if I can watch that AAA event that was on yesterday that I missed. It probably may be on WWE's YouTube channel. Cause that's the thing. I heard about something like that, but the problem was it's like you can't. I couldn't watch both at the same time because I was watching the AEW pay per view on a crack stream, and obviously watching that on the crack stream and then try to watch it on YouTube, one of them would have had to cancel each other out. Like one would go mute and pause while the other one plays, and stuff like that. How you been doing, Pez? I've seen other people like on YouTube. One about the guys like Mr. Cylindrical or something like that. Cylindrical. I if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. But he recently posted about the giveaway of his replica smoking skull. I think I was part of it once before, but then again, it was a while back. Did you see that the new AEW National Championship belt? It's a blatant ripoff of the NWA Championship of the '80s. Yeah, I was just explaining that earlier on this stream. I was talking a lot about it. It's basically a ripoff of the NWA Television Championship or National Championship of the NWA, but it was also could have been a blatant ripoff of the Hogan '85 belt or the Hogan '84 belt. You know. Then again, a lot of those type of title belts were blatant rip-offs. And plus, too, hearing it from Hazard F5, if you check it out on Hazard F5's channel, it was made by Dave Milliken. Out of all people to make belts for, they give it to Dave Milliken. Because I hear that Dave Milliken has not been that well uh, in the belt making community now, because apparently, it seems to me, some of his buyers are still waiting for their belts and not getting wanting to get refunds, and he's been conning people out of belts. Which I'm thinking, Dave Milliken, the man who basically was who was mentored by the late and great Reggie Parks, is literally doing that to his customers now. That explains why WWE dropped. Dropped him and went to Wildcat Championship belts. At least Wildcat don't do that to the WWE. I don't know if it's true or not, but then again, I think of like Dave Milliken made the belt, and it's like, man, that guy. I don't know who came up. Obviously he. Sometimes they vary from design to design. If it's the company that came up with that design, or if Dave Milliken just said, you know what, I'm gonna make it look like this belt, and then just slap the logos on there. The main plate is identical to the NWA National Championship, except for the color. Take a look side by side with the NWA version, and yeah, I've seen that. I've looked it up. Literally, it's the exact same except the paint schemes. Obviously, the NWA's championships, they were all nickel plated. AEW's, they're gold plated. The NWA's championships had different paint schemes. Like their national championship was painted in gold. The television championship, I think, it had a blue concept or a red concept. Here, it was painted. The parts that were painted red. It has 6 stars on a banner that was painted blue. It literally sticks out like a sore thumb. TV title has several differences. Yes, but the shape of the belt is the exact same as the national championship, exact same as the Hogan 84 and 85. Like some of them have the exact same design concept. Maybe little changes on the plates here and there, but the shape is still the exact same. Then my Hogan 85 looks exactly like a NWA television championship or a national championship or any championship of NWA that has that type of design. Just like how the the network logo belt, like the WWE championship, looked exact same as to the women's championship and of course the universal championships. They just looked the exact same, just different color schemes. Like how the red was like the Universal was first red and then it went to blue. But then the WWE Championship was exactly like it, except it was just a black strap color. But then when they were unified and then go back to the other shape is all the same. Concept for TV, National, American, Middle Eastern, Hogan 85 were the same. Yes, that's what I'm saying. The shape and the concept look were all exact same. The only little difference is maybe changing of logos and stuff on their plates, like design wise. The only thing that stuck the same was the banners, the eagle, all very cool. Yeah, yeah, all cool. It's just that it feels like lazy design. Not that it's not saying that the design was stupid, but I'm saying it's just like it was just a copy and paste quick build of a belt. It's like, oh, we'll take a famous popular belt of the time that people adore and we'll just paste like the company's logos on them and maybe change a few things here and there and bam, sell it for thousands of dollars to the company and bam, there we go. It was literally lazy work of a belt. But then I Love the old school belts. Yes. Say it. I own a Backlund belt. I own a Hogan 85. I own the big green belt. And I'm trying to work on maybe buying older belts. Like once I get done collecting some AEW belts, go back to and because I want to go back to owning some. I got maybe one WCW belt on my thought to get, but yeah, old school belts that I grew up with. They're a lot. I'd say they could be a lot better than the ones they have today. Because as I said, like I wouldn't know about NWA as much because I only know it by YouTube. Because I wasn't growing up at that time. But like I know about the big gold belt because I was growing up when it was part of the WWE. I didn't know about the original concept of it, how it was on a brown strap or how it was dual plated, how it had nickel and gold into it. How it didn't even have a logo on it until WWE got its hands on it. Oh, we're already past 30 minutes. Like I said, I'll probably see if I get to 45 here. But yeah. But then again, as well, think about how AEW was ripping off WWE now that they're having women's tag titles. I mean, the concept been around before with WWE, and of course with TNA with their knockouts tag teams. But it seems like AEW is now trying to rip off WWE, and it's like, no, we're not trying to rip off WWE. Look, we're trying to follow like NWA. We got our national championship and all that. Did you watch any of the old NWA material when I was on the WWE Network? When it was on WWE Network? I didn't know they had NWA stuff on WWE Network. I thought they only had like WCW and ECW. I didn't see much of the NWA stuff because I don't think NW because I think WWE had nothing to do with NWA after they parted ways with them. Because the WWE Network they will only show the stuff that they own for, and ECW and WCW was some of that stuff. Hold on one second, folks. I'm gonna get myself something to drink. I'll be right back. Come on, I'll be back on that belt. Guys, just getting myself something to drink. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't know about anything about the NWA stuff. It's kind of hard to already to stay at, but now watching more of like all of WWE stuff, like Raw on Netflix, and then go on the CW to watch NXT now instead of like watching the replays on YouTube because I thought I could only be able to watch it, but I see I can find a way to watch NXT now on my phone from the stream on the go, and and of course Wednesday with AEW Dynamite, then TNA on Thursday, and then Friday SmackDown with, and as well after SmackDown watching everything on the menu with Braun Strowman. If you guys watched that one, everything on the menu with Braun Strowman. No, they had bought the liberties up for Mid South, Jim Crockett Promotions, WCCW, and others. It was all available including the pay per view. Oh, okay. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, as well, if I had to try to rewatch all of that stuff, I'm pretty sure that by the time I got through all of it, it including the new stuff with WWE. I'd probably be about as old as you, Pez. Yeah, I'm joking, man. I don't. I'm not gonna make fun of your age. I apologize about that. But like I said, man, the amount of stuff there, it would take me months, if not yet years, to try to watch everything of wrestling from that era. And it's like, man, I can watch some stuff of the past, but it's like I'd rather stick to what I know now and what I'd known back then. Like I said, furthest I would go is like the '90s, like 1990 to maybe the '80s, even if that. Any further there, it's like, what the hell is this? Because, like I said, I only go back to what I know for sure. Like I said, I do have knowledge of certain stuff, like how I know about the Backlund belt, how it was owned by like Pedro Morales and of course Billy Graham and of course Bob Backlund and like all of them wore that type of belt, including Bruno Sammartino as well wore that belt on his second run. It wasn't as long as his first run. He held the belt for like almost 7 years, I think. Bob Backlund with the second longest WWE Championship reign with like almost 5 years. And there's no one that's ever gonna beat those records. I mean, Reigns came close, holding the title for what, nearly almost 4 years until Cody Rhodes took the belt off him. Now he's up there as like I think in the top five of long reign WWE champions. But yeah, almost here. Bruno had almost 8 years. Well, I think it was almost 7 or 8. I think it was. I thought it was like almost 7. But like I said, he still holds the long. He still holds the record for the longest reign. I mean, for a men's title, that is, because there's also. I wouldn't say it's the longest title reign because there was also the fabulous Moolah. I heard that held the title for what nearly over 20 years before she dropped it to Wendy Richter before the first WrestleMania. I mean, because I hear that about like the dark side of the ring and stuff like that. Like, yeah, there was fabulous Moolah who held the WWF women's title or a world women's title for nearly decades. And you'd be thinking, how can it even? And it makes you show exactly how tough women were back in the day. Before they didn't have such thing as women wrestling. But it's like a woman can hold a title longer than a man can. Shows how tough a woman can be. Something for my female fans out there, if there are any female fans. I know I've probably got a couple, but yeah, you hear about like longest reigning Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions. Like, man, that ain't nothing. Like, if they really wanted to, there are reigns that WWE doesn't recognize. Like Antonio Inoki, who had a full week when Backlund went to Japan. There is that, and as well the one, and of course, like how WWE won't recognize the other like what 5 or 6 championship reigns by Ric Flair. Moolah had it for 27 years, I believe. Yeah, she probably would have the longest women's championship reign, but WWE won't recognize that, or as far as I know. Like WWE don't recognize that. They only probably recognize when she won the WWF Women's title back in the Attitude Era. So I'm saying she held it for over 20 years. That's probably one of the longest title reigns of a belt in wrestling history. I mean, I'm not sure because then again, I can't, I don't know if it's, I mean, I don't know what else is out there or true about that or to look up and see if there's any that have been longer than that. But yeah, Fabulous Moolah held a title for over 20 years, which is nearly 4 to 5 times longer than Bruno Sammartino held, which makes you think, why would WWE not recognize most of them? Like, why would not recognize, oh, Moolah held the title for over 20 years, or Ric Flair was only 16-time world champion. They don't recognize the other six titles that he probably held with the NWA. Because AEW recognizes the fact that Ric Flair probably held the world title 21 or 22 times. It's crazy that they don't recognize certain reigns since they were part of the NWA. In fact, every company out there was probably part of the NWA. TNA was part of the NWA. ECW was part of the NWA. WCW was part of the NWA. And it's funny, even the WWE was part of the NWA. It's literally like NWA split off and made all these other companies, and they became much bigger than the companies themselves. It's it's pretty much hilarious to think, wow, that all these companies would not have been around if it wasn't for the fact they were part of the NWA first. I mean, that's when they split off, and that's when the territories came about. You know, like the whole thing about it. But yeah, every company, pretty sure any wrestling company that someone out there would know about, except for probably the indies, like those big companies that you hear about, they all probably were a part of the NWA once. Like WCW, ECW, TNA, all them big companies now, but they were all once part of the NWA. The only company I'm pretty sure of it that is about as big as WWE in them that wasn't part of the NWA is AEW, as far as I know. And I think New Japan, but don't quote me on that. I don't. I'm pretty sure that New Japan had some term with NWA, just not so sure. Pretty sure you would know, Pez, if what I'm saying is accurate or not. If NWA had something to do with New Japan before. All these messages. Wow, already about nearly 45 minutes. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna probably stop it at 50. If you got maybe not an hour, but hey, it's longer than a half hour, right? Because gotta run a few places and maybe get some lunch and watch a football game and just relax, enjoy my Sunday. But yeah, because I would let's see, AEW to me might be owned by a billionaire, but it's nowhere near the size of the NWA was in the 80s as a company. Well, yeah, back in well, they even during the 60s. Imagine that, like the early like 60s when or any company that was when NWA was one thing, because all those other companies were once just territorial, like almost like I would hate to say it, but it's like it was the size like an indie style wrestling. they're like as a branch. NWA was basically the main like tree trunk, and the branches were like WWE and over here, ECW over here, WCW over there, uh, Mid South, and all those other companies out there that were part of the NWA, like Jim Crockett Promotions and all that stuff. Like I said, like how could WWE not recognize some of their stuff, even though they own parts of it? I mean, there's certain things WWE wants. I mean, will ignore and want people to forget about. Like that, people are always going to remember about Chris Benoit, but yet they want to erase him from their history. It's like it's kind of almost impossible. Like you can't. People are not going to forget. Like he was part of the main event of WrestleMania 20, and it's like yeah, well we still don't need, we're not going to put him in the Hall of Fame though because of what he did. Well, I understand that. What I don't understand is the fact how you're going to try to erase him and his, and of course, not even mention about his name, like his wife Nancy, or their son, or his like son Daniel. Not even his only son that is still alive today, like David Benoit. He's talking about he wants to go to wrestling. The only problem is he can't use his Benoit name because of his dad, of what his dad did. So he may have to just stick to like a alternate name. Kind of like Brian Pillman Jr., who's now in NXT, going by the name of Lexus King. I don't understand why they just say call him Brian Pillman Jr. because he was part of because his dad Brian Pillman Sr. was part of the WWE at the time. He was the loose cannon. I mean, he went in as Brian Pillman Jr. in AEW, but I guess AEW may own the rights to the name or something. I'm not sure. Or WWE doesn't want him to use his name because of AEW or something, reason like that. Are you going to stream during the week over the holiday? I might, depending on how the work schedule is. So far, I've been hearing they were talking about us working on Thanksgiving, but not so sure. I hope not because it's for the past couple of years I haven't had to work Thanksgiving, and plus two I really do. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna maybe stream on Thanksgiving because I'll be spending time with the family, and plus two I'll be going to a place. I'll be going probably. I won't be at my house. I'll be going probably to my brother's for Thanksgiving. Yeah, so there's that. To be able to separate from Benoit personal life from wrestling. Yeah, but then again, it's kind of hard to do that. You know, because now what he did was so gruesome and cruel. You, when people mention the name Benoit, they already think about Chris and what he did to his wife. You just can't get away from it. Like Benoit, most people would think, oh, they see the moment of him winning the world title from Triple H and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania and hugging Eddie Guerrero in that, or him winning the U.S. title from Orlando Jordan or losing in that. They don't, but they don't think it like that. There's like, oh, the guy who went insane and strangled his and killed his wife and suffocated his own son and then stayed with the bodies for a couple days before he ended up killing himself. That's all that people were going to remember about Chris Benoit. That's why nowadays WWE is not going to mention his name. Even now Vince McMahon's no longer running the damn thing, it's still part of the company to where they're not going to mention his name. I mean, unless you may end up hearing the name drop But they like you know that's the reason why they didn't go to David or Nancy's sister or any of the members of the family. They don't even mention Mike Benoit, who was Chris's Benoit's dad, because of that name. You can't mention uh, Benoit whatsoever. But yet, some people should think Nancy Benoit deserves to be remembered. And I'd say it probably would have been better. I mean, yeah, you can't mention the name Benoit, but maybe you should have called her woman or angel, like in the WCW days when she was with Kevin Sullivan. Like, like as Chris Jericho said in the Dark Side of the Ring, he would be nothing better than to see woman be inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame, because she kind of deserves to be remembered. I mean, not call her Nancy Benoit, but call her woman. You know. I mean, don't you agree? The fact that they should probably have have Nancy in the Hall of Fame, but not call her Nancy Benoit, call her woman, like she was back in the WCW days. I mean, because I don't know if they have done anything yet would evolve with, what was it? Jimmy Snuka, because he was found. I mean, because the guy murdered his damn girlfriend back in the '80s, and he was honored in the Hall of Fame. And I don't know if they took away his Hall of Fame title yet or not, but I still say it is kind of messed up to think if he's still in the Hall of Fame. It's like, yeah, you have a murderer in your Hall of Fame, WWE, but yet, like, you yet you just like, oh, we don't care about uh, Snook. It's a whole different story. I'm getting these damn phone calls. Let's see. You ever hear the rumor that he didn't kill his family? That it was another wrestler named Kevin Sullivan? Yeah, I was just talking about that. Kevin Sullivan. Well, I know because Kevin Sullivan was with Nancy back in the WCW times, but then again, he started a storyline which was then they claimed it was an actual real life thing that happened, involving where he lost his wife to Chris Benoit, and he had a grudge to the guy ever since. I mean, some people can say what they want to say. Even with Paul Heyman, how he has a thing, he doesn't care about like CTE and all that. That made Benoit snap. Like he thinks, like as a performer, probably the most remarkable guy, but as a human being, he don't he doesn't even like when people say, "Oh, that's my boy Chris." Like he doesn't, because they like as he said, three people died that in that house that night, and only one person made made the choice. The other two didn't have a choice, and that's why I agree with Paul Heyman. Like some people may forever enjoy Chris Benoit and that. Like I've seen those stuff on Facebook all the time where they like the next year Hall of Fame inductee should be Chris Benoit. It's like you forget they're not gonna glorify a murderer no matter what. Like I'm pretty sure that even Hulk Hogan, they pulled his self out of the Hall of Fame once because he got caught being a racist bastard, like secretly on video because of the sex tape that his daughter had. If they could pull him off for being a racist, you think a murderer is like nothing? I mean, there's a reason why they probably don't have Tamina on WWE anymore. They don't want to have any references to Snuka. And I'm not sure if they even pulled Snuka out of the Hall of Fame for that. Like I said, like people, like what I said, they don't mention certain people. And another thing, like as well, like Owen Hart, another one. Sort of like politics. I love listening to Jim Crockett, but I don't like his political views. Or Jim Cornette, yeah. Well, then again, Jim Cornette, he's been dealing with wrestling for over 40 years. And so he's been through everything from being a manager to even being the promoter. He's literally the historian of professional wrestling. And he may not into and think how the guy has a grudge against Vince Russo. Vince Russo is probably the, as he puts it, the shit stain of the underwear of wrestling. And yet he probably wants the, and he has like a real life rivalry, if not yet. He wants the guy dead for what he did. He says the guy, like how Vince Russo claims he's the one behind the Montreal screw job, and how he came up with the concept for the Brawl for All, the worst idea in probably in professional wrestling history, and how he did the and how he came up with the concept of Bash at the Beach 2000, that whole thing there, and that's probably what caused WCW to go out of business. I mean, so everyone's thoughts makes you wonder who's more of a who was more worse? Was it Jim Cornette or was it Vince Russo? The way I see it, it's like maybe Russo could have been the shit stain on of professional wrestling. He's a walking encyclopedia on wrestling. Who? Cornette or Russo? Russo is more like the shit stain of wrestling. After all, for a man who claims like, oh, I'm the one behind the Montreal screw job, even though Jim Cornette probably was the one that was behind it. He has more knowledge about stuff like that, like how there was a double cross that happened before the Montreal screw job. Wow. Oh, Cornette. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. We're almost near an hour. Tell you what, we're gonna do a 2 minute warning now, so it's probably gonna be an outro. So thanks again, Pez, for being a part of this live stream. Nice conversation with you, man. Thank you all for being a part of this live stream as well. Don't forget to like it if you haven't already. I see we got a couple likes there. And if you're new to my channel and want to see what I'm all about, especially when it comes to wrestling belts and especially my reviews on them and my thoughts on wrestling itself, go ahead and check out my main channel of nearly 440 some videos. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, guys. There, I'm only 3 away from 800. Let's try to get to 800 before the end of the year. I don't know why. It was a corny thing to do. That was stupid. But anyway, as well, shout outs to my friend like Pez. Check out his channel. He has a couple videos on there related to wrestling, and he also has a bit as well. He was one of the winners of. I think he was the winner of the 700 subscriber belt giveaway. I had a video showing off my belt there. Did you ever watch when Cornette was in the WWE for a brief period? Yeah, I did. As well, say, shout out to my friends like Dex from I Am Dex TV or just playing Dex. He does live streams as well on his channel. He also has a wrestling channel called Wrestle Chat Talk. You might see me there every now and then. Shout out to Stephen Hammer, STEPHGN Hammer, who does belt related biz as well. And oh yeah, don't forget to ring your notification bell so you guys be notified when I do live streams and other videos on my channel. And follow me on my social media, like on X at DMTombstone96, and as well on Instagram at DME96, where I might post stuff there before I post stuff here on this channel. Anyway, I'm DM Tombstone Belts, and for DM Tombstone Live, signing off. See you guys next week, hopefully. Have a good day, everybody.